Episode 491, Michael Makes a Deal. "She's in grave danger, but there are options," said Harvey Kingston. Michael Murdoch stood by his sister's bed. "Are you saying you can save Louisa?" he asked in a whisper. Harvey said nothing. His face was somber, and he looked as if he were struggling with a difficult choice. Finally, he said, "I can, but saving her life would put mine in danger." Michael was ecstatic. "There have been a dozen doctors in and out of this room, and they all just told me I should prepare for the worst. I was ready to lose my mind." He looked down at his sister. "But you can save her," he said. "Mr. Kingston, do it. Whatever it takes. I will do everything in my power to repay you. Obstacles can be dealt with. Mr. Kingston, Harvey, I'll do anything. Please help my sister." Jonah Walton nodded. "You heard the man, Harvey. Mr. Murdoch and Greenson Biotech will give you whatever you need." The men waited eagerly for Harvey's response. He sighed and said, "I guess we should get started. Watch the door, please. We don't want any interruptions." Without another word, he pulled a slim case from his pocket and withdrew a wicked-looking syringe. It was made of some kind of black metal that glinted strangely under the harsh fluorescent lights. The barrel was pre-loaded with a vial of clear blue liquid. He injected it into Louisa's IV and stood back, capping the needle and putting it back in its little case. "It won't take long," he said, looking up at the clock by the door. In less than 2 minutes, her complexion began to improve. In 5 minutes, Louisa's labored breathing became steady and even. In 7 minutes, her arms and legs relaxed. In 10 minutes, her eyes stopped twitching under the lids. In 20 minutes, Louisa looked as if she were just taking a nap. Michael was in awe. The monitors that surrounded his sister's bed had stopped their insistent beeping, and the readings were all normal. Nurses and doctors poured into the room and examined Louisa. There was no sign of the poison at all. There would have to be more tests, the doctor said, but she seemed to be out of danger. It was a miracle. "My goodness," Michael said, when the last of the hospital staff cleared out, leaving him alone with Harvey and Jonah. Before he could stop himself, he flung his arms around Harvey. "I don't think I really expected..." He began to regain his composure. "You saved my sister. You saved me. You saved my family." He looked back at Louisa in wonder. "What can I do for you? Name it." "Not for me exactly," Harvey said with a strange smile. "I want to open a clinic here in Baltimore, but there are some licenses I'll need. Greenson Biotech and the Murdoch name can smooth things along." Michael blinked. "What? I don't understand. You can ask me for anything and you just want help with paperwork?" His family's company had enough political clout to get something as simple as a license issued in a matter of days. Michael had as good as offered Harvey a blank check. He could have asked for untold riches, but all he seemed to want was help opening a clinic. With his sister out of danger, Michael began to think more clearly. He realized that he had never asked what had been in that syringe, or how using it could put Harvey in danger. All he knew is that he'd promised a lot of help to a total stranger. A stranger who could now rely on the support of the Murdoch family. Michael was wary, but he smiled. He tried to find a way to smoothly dial down his enthusiasm from before. "Mr. Kingston," he said, "getting something like that done in Baltimore isn't easy." "Yes, I know," Kingston said with a soft smile. "That's why I'm asking for your help." He held up the case that housed the syringe. "The solution I used, well, The ghosts call it the Grail, and they don't just hand it out to anyone. It can break down any toxin and repair damage on a cellular level. It's not easy to come by, obviously, and it's not cheap. It's made with more than 100 rare herbs from all over the world, but the most difficult ingredient is human blood. A lot of human blood. Plasma, to be precise. He looked at the case with his hand and opened it. This was made with mine. Drawing that amount of plasma is dangerous, so each time could be the last time. I often have to deal with some dangerous toxins, so the Grail is a necessity. Closing the case, he returned it to his pocket. The cost is astronomical. I know your family is rich, but even you couldn't afford it. It's not just money, though. You have to impress the ghosts to get it. I've only ever been given 2 doses, and I just used one for your sister without their authorization. Getting more from them would be complicated, even without the physical danger.
You've given up a lot for the Murdochs, Mr. Kingston,
Jonah said. Not many people would be so selfless, especially for a total stranger.
I have to say, I'm impressed.
Harvey's eyes gleamed with a strange light. That's very kind of you to say.